Are we on?
Yes.
We're on. Okay, we're on.
Stop
Moron.
yelling. You know
You're on. What? You're in. What?
You're a moron?
I'm a moron.
How early did we get up today?
Welcome aboard. Don't say we got up. It'll sound like we sleep in the same house. Welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Sunday morning. It is the Lady and the Legend for free. That's right. You formerly had to pay for it listening to Sirius Radio.
Please.
But I will tell you, no, please. I'm not. I had 12, 13 fantastic years at Sirius Radio, and I am very grateful to both Matt Deutsch and Rob Touzé. Very grateful for the great years that I had, and now it's on to bigger and better things. And part of that is going to be doing the Lady and the Legend show right here on the same day that we did it on Sirius Sunday morning.
I'm going to put a coin jar in our house.
Yeah, now
Every time you say that bad word, you have to put a quarter in the jar.
Were you surprised that I announced my retirement?
How many times are you going to announce retirement?
No, I did. I announced my retirement for broadcasting national radio, and now I'm just getting... The only thing I'm doing...
Look,
this is the podcast. Not doing labor, not doing tout wars, not doing anything. I'm doing the podcast with the love of my life.
Yes, I'm trying to be supportive, but I don't know how many times a guy can go into retirement.
Okay. Well,
now listen, we're not retiring anyways.
No, we'll be
because
here.
This is the favorite thing that you like to do every day.
Absolutely.
Get tidbits.
Tidbits. I get tidbits. I get nuggets.
He sends me 300 pages of tidbits.
I didn't send that to you, 300 pages.
You sent me 4 documents for today's show.
Oh, that's right.
With at least 50 pages each.
Yeah, because my notes for the Monday show is up to 600 pages. And I will absolutely, if anybody wants me to send them, then, and it's not 600 pages. It's
what, 300?
No, it's not that. It's
Once
pages.
It gets past like 20 pages.
Oh, you know what it's like. I send them on a, what do you call it?
A document.
I send them on a document, so it's not really 600 real pages, but it says how many pages. Anyway, good morning to everybody. Good morning.
Bobby Kleinow and family.
Bobby Kleinow. We'll be doing a show here pretty soon. Boston Paul, Chris Gallo, Daniel Ferrara, Eddie Heckman, John Garofalo. Good morning to you, the king of all apps. Laura DiChiara.
Hello, Laura.
There you go. Maine Nick, Malpal, and all the guests.
John Garofalo, our friend.
If the guests, poppycock. If the guests could register in the chat room, up above, it'll take you 30 seconds. It'll get your name on board. All right, let's get to the nitty and the gritty. Yes,
we are going to put together some Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports chat room mixed leagues, and if you haven't sent Lenny an email yet, letting you know that you're interested, we would love to hear from you. Bobby K, that counts for you. Maine Nick, if you haven't done it, LennyMelnick@gmail.com. We'll just do 12-team mixed leagues. We'll do a slow draft, and we would love to have everybody in the chat room participate.
And by the way, you get a prize if you win.
Yes.
Unlike certain main events that don't offer anything except your own expenses, you get a prize, okay? You get something. You get it. It's worthwhile.
It's better than a lottery ticket.
That's right. Good morning to Outlaw Seal, who George is here. Ladies and gentlemen.
I was at the when I was Christmas shopping with Mark, we were at the mall. We went into one of these sports stores, and they had a bunch of baseball cards behind the counter. And I thought, are you listening to me?
Yes, I am.
You don't seem interested. Anyways, just shut your trap for a second. The baseball cards I thought were going out. I didn't think they were going to have baseball cards anymore. Just the NF.
No, Topps sold out, but they're still making the cards.
So they now make them in these packs of 50.
Yeah, all right.
And there's 50 cards in each pack, and there's at least like 2 rookie cards, and there's a player-worn jersey, one.
Yeah. Buy the old Topps cards. Those are the cards that are going to be worth something. Buy the Topps cards, even the ones they made last year. Those are the ones that are going to be worth anything. Okay? Now you can finish.
I'm done.
Okay, you're DOA.
Let's move along.
Okay, now among the teams, we're going to talk about some of the teams that you think we think you should bet on if you're placing a bet for the pennant races, and then we've got some unbelievable tidbits. Now, do you call them tidbits or do you call them nuggets?
Do you know how I know the media is so biased and ridiculous?
How?
Because when they don't like somebody, they don't talk about them.
Like who?
Like, for instance, we're going to talk right now about how the Angels, and I don't think that Trevor Bauer will go to the Angels because clearly he's out of California. But when they're talking about how the rotation, they need to, add to their rotation, they talk about Michael Wacha, you will never, ever read anybody talking about Bauer getting back into baseball.
Well, look, as
because they don't like him.
The Angels, it's now reported that they are one of the teams, and I'm not surprised. John Heyman talks about Michael Wacha joining the Angels, a team that absolutely, their pitching staff is not bad. It's not a bad pitching staff. Shohei Ohtani leads the way.
Patrick Sandoval, that's it.
You like Patrick?
They have nobody else.
That's right.
But they have a lot of lefties.
Tucker David. Yeah, they got 4 left. They got 5 lefties in their rotation. So with Anderson, Sandoval, Jose Suarez could be a good pitcher.
We're talking about a guy in Wacha.
Yeah.
That everybody in the media is interested in. This guy in his last outing last year gave up 3 home runs. He hasn't given up less than a home run per 9 in the last 3 years. Sometimes he goes over 2 home runs per 9. It's unbelievable. This guy is not a good pitcher. He's clearly past his prime.
Was coming off a good season with the Red Sox.
How good of a season when he gave up so many home runs that you can't even... Especially, we talk about momentum when you go out of the season. We're going to talk about some pitchers today that finished the season last year on a tear, and typically they'll enter the next season with momentum.
Yeah.
Michael Wacha has no team. In his last start of the season, October 2nd, 3 home runs he allowed.
He's still a nice pitcher.
In 4 innings.
Tommy Johnson, Rotorius is here. The Nationals announced that Chad Kuhl has been signed. Not a big deal. He had a 5.7 ERA, well below average.
Is that good?
No, I'm just reporting.
Chad Kuhl stinks, too.
I'm reporting the news, okay?
All right, 5.72 ERA, well below average strikeout rate, 17%. He walked 9.4%. 137 innings with the Rockies. He had his best season in 2017 with the Pirates. But since then, he's only thrown 348 innings. He missed entire 2019 recovering from Tommy John surgery. And again, even in his best season in 2017, he wasn't good.
The Houston Astros, who are 3-1, that's the odds on the American League. 3-1, tied with the Yankees. 3-1.
What is plus 300?
That means if you bet 100, you get 300 back. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The Blue Jays are plus 750.
Yeah.
Listen to this. According to the odds.
Yes.
The Blue Jays and the Mariners
are 7.5 to 1.
Are 7.5 to 1. So, if you think about the odds here, would you rather have the Blue Jays or the Mariners? Would you rather bet your money on the Blue Jays or the Mariners? And the Mariners have better odds than the White Sox, the Rays.
But the Astros are a much better team. As a matter of fact,
I'm not talking about the Astros.
Well, I'm talking about I bet the best team. And when we talk about the Astros at 3-1, if you could get that bet in now, I would, and I'll tell you why. There's a rumor that's floating around. Okay, are you ready for the rumor?
You lost Sandlot Shrink somehow.
No, the rumor that's floating around, that's not what I'm looking for. Hey? The rumor
that's floating around is that the Astros are going to try to get Pedro or Severino, right?
What are you talking about?
The rumor that's floating around is that they're going to make a trade to get a catcher from Kansas City.
To get a catcher from Kansas City right now. The Astros catcher is Martin Maldonado, backed up by Corey Lee. Maldonado, not a bad defensive catcher.
So who's the catcher?
Not a bad second catcher, but listen to this, because this, I am told, this could happen. And I'm talking about Salvador Perez.
Yeah.
From the Kansas City Royals, Salvador Perez to the Yankees, to the Marlins. That is incredible. And that the Astros looking to beef up their catcher position before the start of the season. There are big rumblings. When was the last time you heard of a big rumbling?
Every day.
Every day. Big rumble. That's from my stomach because you don't cook.
I don't cook.
They are aiming to make a big push for Salvador Perez, and he'd be a major splash for the Astros.
Salvador Perez. I love him.
Seven-time All-Star, and he had 48 home runs in 161
Yes,
games.
in 2021.
Right.
Now, though, he did not have a very good season last year. He had only half that, 23 home runs. So, yeah, he had 48 home runs.
Oh, wait a second. Robert Chandler is here. How you
Hello.
doing there, Rob? Want to make sure everybody has sound?
Outlaw
Good to
Seal
see.
is back? Wonderful.
Under Putin is back.
Stop calling him Putin.
Under Putin. Hey, Uncle Putin. I'm sorry.
All right.
That's great.
Sorry, he doesn't mean to
Fantastic.
be offensive.
I'm
He's
not.
just,
I don't mean to be offensive. It's just my natural disposition.
George is here, Daniel.
Okay, everybody's here. Thank you so much, guys. All right. So how about that? Perez still a very good catcher.
How good?
Is exactly the player the Astros would need. Okay.
All right.
So now let me ask you a question. Okay.
Let's talk about Tony Gwynn since Malpal is here.
All right. We're going to talk about San Diego. So I'll talk about Tony Gwynn. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I put up on my Facebook page because, and it actually gets a lot of attention when I put up baseball stuff on there.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Tony Gwynn had 10,232 plate appearances and only fell behind in the count 0-2 700 times. That's 6.9% of the times he was standing up at the plate with an 0-2 count. And even after he fell 0-2, he batted .267, which was higher than the league average during his career.
All right. Let me
That's
ask.
the entire league average for any situation.
Unbelievable, Tony Gwynn. Now, let me ask the chat room a question. I want everybody to think about this. Put your pens, pencils, and bloody fingers down. And I've listened. Jim Memolo did such a great job talking about Memolo and Jeff Joyce. They do such a great job on MLB radio. But here's the thing. The L.A. Dodgers are 4-1 to win the National League pennant. All right, you got that?
What do they base these off of?
The
number of
Well,
bets.
it's
Not based off the better team. It's based off the number of people betting.
And you know something? That could be right. But so here, and you're probably right, because here's the deal: the Dodgers are 4-1 to win the pennant. San Diego is 4.5 to 1.
It's not a
So
big
so
difference.
but it's a difference.
The Cardinals are 12-1.
But when you have a team with Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, and Xander Bogaerts all on the same team, how
Don't forget
could
Nelly.
Well,
Nelly
how
Cruz.
could the odds be better for the Dodgers than for San Diego? And San Diego's pitching is probably better than the Dodgers.
I doubt it. They need help.
Well, they need help?
They need help pitching.
San Diego needs help
Yes,
pitching.
and I would tell you what Malpal will say. The reason that the Dodgers are more qualified to win.
Why? What does
because of
Malpal
AJ
say?
Preller.
Okay,
Because
but the
he
pitching.
stinks as a manager.
San Diego's pitching is, Darvish, Musgrove, Blake Snell,
Blake Snell.
all right, Nick Martinez, Seth Lugo.
Well, they do have Hader.
Julio Turan. But the Dodgers, they're
Yeah, they
Urias,
do. They have a
Kershaw,
better-
Gonsolin, Dustin May, Noah Syndergaard. It's not that much better.
It is.
When you have 4 All-Stars in your lineup and your,
Well,
team is not favored, something's not right.
Some people question how well the team will get together. We don't really know how the camaraderie will be with these guys, but I will say this. 4 out of 5 of those guys are of Dominican heritage. Dominican Republic.
Right.
Machado was born in the States, but his mother is from the Dominican. And the other, Tatis, Nelly Cruz, and Juan Soto, all born in the Dominican Republic. I'm telling you, they're going to get along just because of that. They all share the same culture. Anyway, I root for the Padres, but I don't think these odds have anything to do with how well the teams do.
Well, let's go over the Astros. The Astros are
Well, I thought we were going to go through these.
going through the teams.
All these tidbits that you gave me?
I said you can plug them in anytime you want.
All right.
Well, we have a lot of interesting. An example. All right, go ahead. Give one as a question. Go ahead.
Some people don't think that Yadier Molina deserves to go into the Hall of Fame.
That's a good point. There's a lot of people who feel that Yadier Molina is
Some.
not a whole.
Not me.
But there are people.
Yes, of course.
What did I say? A lot.
Yes.
And tell us why. Tell one of the reasons why. Listen to this. This is fascinating. Until last night when I saw that, I had no idea. Go ahead.
The fewest stolen bases allowed in MLB since 2005 is the Cardinals by a huge gap.
Listen to this.
They've
Listen to
allowed
this.
886 stolen bases since 2005. The next best team is the Diamondbacks. They've allowed 1,310. So a total of about 400 or so stolen base difference. And Yadier Molina's first full season was, guess when? 2005.
2005. Right.
So if, unfortunately the Hall of Fame is strictly based on personality traits. But
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So anyway, Astros,
that's a good tidbit.
That's,
What about Craig Kimbrell in Philly? He's the closer now, right? Didn't they just acquire Kimbrell?
Yeah, Craig Kimbrell is the closer. And based on this, I'm going to go an extra dollar on Craig Kimbrell. And
Right.
I think the Phillies have built up a very nice bullpen. You say, well, who's the closer in Philadelphia? We don't really know who the closer is in Philadelphia. The Phillies have a tremendous amount to choose from. They got Kimbrell. I like Sir Anthony Dominguez, Jose
You still do?
Alvarado, the
Gregory
lefty.
Soto?
And they got two lefties, Alvarado. And so I think it's going to be by committee. But tell us why you think
Well,
Craig
Kimbrell is clearly the leader here.
Why is
and
he
the
going to
veteran.
step out?
In 19 and a third innings at Philly's Citizens Bank Park, 0 earned runs, 15 out of 15 saves opportunities, extra base hits allowed 1, a .93 whip.
This is all in Philadelphia,
And
right?
the 18 of these 21 appearances, this is out of 21 appearances, he pitched 19 and a third innings, 0 earned runs, 15 out of 15 save opportunities, a whip under 1, a 38.2% strikeout rate, and that is one thing that Kimbrell can still do, strike out batters. 18 of these 21 appearances were with the Braves. So I have to say, though, this does go back a while. He was with the Braves from 2010 to 2014. That's quite a few years ago, but still, he's great at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies acquired him. They say they're going to do closer by committee, but the chances are good that, I'm not going to pay a lot more for Kimbrell than I would for Soto.
Well, Bobby Kleinel says Kimbrell can't be depended on, and that's true to a degree.
But you're going to get him super cheap.
George says that Kimbrell has a possible Hall of Fame career, but I'll tell you why I don't think that's going to happen. It's been said that one of the reasons Billy Wagner is not in the Hall of Fame is because of the fact that he does not have a great off-season career. Either does Kimbrell.
Off-season?
Postseason career.
Oh, whatever.
Like
they just
Mariano.
don't like the guy.
Anyway, the Astros seem to be the favorite in the American League, even though they lost Cy Young Award winner Justin Verlander, and they said goodbye to Yuli Gurriel, but their biggest offseason acquisition, Jose Abreu. And here's the thing, and I know you talked to me about Abreu just the other day. Abreu hit .304 last year. He hit at least 25 home runs and drove in at least 100 RBIs in 6 of his 9 seasons with the White Sox. But still, I think this could be the first year. I called Abreu the most complete and a player that you just can count on. I think we'll see a little bit of a dip in Abreu this year. What about you?
I do too. I had to decide if I wanted to keep him in the 5th round or the 4th round of an AL only draft that's coming up, and I chose to throw him back.
Okay, so you didn't keep Abreu, and
No.
who did you take instead? I'd rather have Walker on Arizona than Abreu, right? Would you?
Not in an AL only league, Leonard.
No, I'm talking about in general. I'd rather have Walker over Abreu. But still, even without Verlander, they got Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, Lance McCullers, Luis Garcia. And by the way, for a great write-up on all the teams in Major League Baseball, Jim Bowden. I tell you what, I go to sleep with Jim Bowden, listening to him on the radio. I wake up reading his stuff. Fantastic. He does a great job. If you really want to get a good idea about what's going on in baseball, Jim Bowden's the guy. And of
Can we
course,
do the tidbits?
can we do the tidbits? Can we have spaghetti? We'll get to it.
No, how? You're going to go through each team
I'm
right
not
now?
going through every team. All right, you want to do tidbits? Ladies and gentlemen, we are now doing tidbits, okay? Tidbits. Wait a second. First of all, you have to learn. It's not tidbits.
That's what it says on the note.
We don't have notes.
It says 55 tidbits.
It's nuggets, you dip.
The other notes that you sent me says nuggets.
Yeah, we said a lot of notes.
Difference?
We said notes.
Balls.
How? What?
Nuggets.
How come?
Cojones.
How come we don't have love notes anymore? We used to write love notes to each other. Remember?
We don't have any room for them.
Okay, all right. Let's talk a little. So much to say about Aaron Judge, who hit 62 home runs.
Listen to the media calling conspiracy theories again.
Well,
for all the conspiracy theories about MLB helping Aaron Judge to 62 home runs by mixing in more buoyant balls, really?
Well,
is that a conspiracy theory?
As I said the other day, Major League Baseball makes 3 different types of balls.
Did they do that specifically for Aaron Judge?
I believe.
Is it a conspiracy to say that they used a bunch of different baseballs last year?
Yes.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's real.
It's real. And I think that
once again,
down the stretch, baseball helped get to 62 home runs by mixing in more, as they call it, buoyant baseballs down the stretch.
I don't know if they did it specifically for Aaron Judge.
Well, I think they did. After homering just 6 times in April, he hit between 9 and 13 home runs in each of the 5 months.
So it doesn't make sense to say that they threw in all these extra, these baseballs that are going to fly further. When he hit between 9 and 13 home runs in each of the other 5 months besides April.
And by the way, Daniel Ferrara is at a family marathon. Okay,
he is. Is he running?
He's got these running. He's got the earplugs in his ear.
He says it's all in the family marathon on TV tonight.
Oh, that's right.
I love the song.
Anyway,
I might have to watch that.
Aaron Judge, 62 home runs, were 16 more than Carl.
Is that on MeTV? I think it is. It starts at noon.
You wanted notes? I sent you notes. Now pay attention. Okay.
Judge's 62 home runs were 16 more than the next closest player, Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
It was the biggest gap between the number 1 and number 2 in a year when someone hit 60. Even when Babe Ruth did it in 1927, Lou Gehrig managed to come within 13. So
how about
Judge just smoked everybody. Did they only give those buoyant balls to Judge?
Buoyant, not buoyant. It's buoyant.
Were they only giving those balls to Judge? How come they didn't give some to Kyle Schwarber?
How come they didn't give any to Mike? You think Mike Trout got them? Because he hit 40. He hit 40.
That's amazing. And he did it in only 119 games.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah. Actually, so Judge averaged a home run every 11.2 plate appearances, but Trout actually averaged a home run every 12.5 plate appearances, beating both of those guys.
Oh, this is crazy.
As far as like home run per plate appearance.
Yeah.
Guess who? Should we do this as a question to the chat?
Yeah, this is a question to the chat room. You win a prize if you get this one, okay?
Guess who hit, on average, more home runs per plate appearance than both Trout and Judge?
That's right.
There's only one.
With a minimum of...
There's no minimum.
All right.
Because he only played in 47 games last year.
But still. But if played a minimum of 40 games played, okay?
Okay.
All right. Who is that? By the way, Mike Trout, with his 40 home runs in 119 games... But here's the thing. If you maintain that pace over a full season...
Mike Trout hits 54.
54 home runs.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So there is one player that did compare with raw skill indicators to Aaron Judge, reigning in the 99th or 100th percentile for basically every quality of contact metric on StatCast. He ranked behind only Judge in average exit velocity, hard hit rate, barrel rate, and XWOBA.
Yeah.
XWOBA.
Okay.
Whatever.
And who is it?
You say expected, weighted, on-base percent, on-base average. Why did they...
It's Jordan Alvarez.
Yes.
And he was very much affected by the shift last year.
Oh, so where are we drafting Alvarez?
Well, that's the question.
You know, it's interesting. Bobby Witt Jr. is going before Alvarez.
Really?
I think so. He's being drafted in the first round.
That's because of the stolen bases.
Quit acting like stolen bases are going to save you.
Stolen bases are a very attractive category.
It's a ridiculous...
that people go for.
Well, don't fall for it. It's
Stolen
ridiculous.
bases.
You can get enough stolen bases later in the draft, middle of the draft. Please don't draft Bobby Witt because of the stolen bases in the first round.
Okay.
And especially don't do it in an on-base league because Bobby Witt's on-base percentage is below 300, which is going to hurt you.
Okay.
And you don't want to hurt yourself in the first round.
So who's the guy who homered 15 times and had a better record, home runs, plate appearances,
Nobody's guessing.
than Aaron Judge and Mike Trout? Judge averaged a home run every 11.2 plate appearances. Mike Trout, a home run every 12.5 plate appearances. But somebody averaged 10.3 home runs per plate appearances.
No.
What?
1 home run for every 10.3 plate appearances.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay.
Whoa, okay, here you go. And we talked about Jordan Alvarez. So how much are you paying for Alvarez?
He's a good hitter. He hits hard as a heck.
Hard as a heck.
Is his lineup around him going to be as strong as it was?
Look at this chat room. We have hit the 30 mark in the chat room. Thank you, Potato Pete. Thank you, everybody.
I'm going to be deaf by the time this is over.
All right, John Garofalo. Everybody's kicking it. Merrill and Mitchell are here. Outlaw Seal is back from a lengthy absence. I miss you. And there you go. Okay, between 2019 and last year, before...
That was the last year is the last full year before the minor league adopted the new pickoff rules.
Right.
Those pickoff rules are about to be introduced to the majors in 2022. The first full year that the minor leagues had that rule, the stolen base attempts increased from 2.2 to 2.8 per game. And what does that mean? The rate of success on those attempts also improved from 68 to 77%.
Wow.
Think of that. That's a lot of a percentage.
That's a big improvement, right?
Now, the new rules in place, they say the pitcher is only allowed to try to pick off the guy at first base twice.
Right.
With the same at bat. What happens so basically your job as a runner is to rope in the pitcher to try to throw you out at first twice, because then after that you get free reign to do whatever you want, and you are going to be stealing.
So 30 stolen bases is not what it has been. There's going to be how many players?
So you think the stolen bases are going to increase?
Oh gosh,
Then
yes.
you need to take back what you said about drafting Bobby Witt for his stolen bases in the first round.
Well, you may have a point there. It's not the emphasis is not going to be on the stolen. You're right. Okay, take a little bit back, but he still gets he could get 50 stolen bases this year.
But there's going to be a lot
that.
more runners stealing bases than
A
what
lot
we've
more.
seen, because what we've seen is a continuous decline in stolen bases and stolen base runners, really. Especially when these runners are not successful. If you look at the number of times they've been caught stealing and compare it to the number of times they've been successful, you can see, if you're a manager, are you going to let this guy continue running when there's so much power in baseball now that the next guy up to bat could get you home and you don't have to risk an out to do it?
All right, we got a couple of people guessing. Manessa's Chris Gallo gets the answer. There he goes, Chris Gallo, the person with the most home runs per at bat.
Matt Carpenter
Is Matt Carpenter. Nice going, Chris.
37 years old.
Woo! Chris Gallo gets it. I love the Gallo.
All right, so we talk a lot about Freddie Freeman.
Go ahead.
And we love Freddie Freeman, of course, right?
Well, he's okay.
And his little kid looks just like him.
Yes.
I just love these little babies. You know, who is the guy that just went to Boston? What's his name? From Atlanta. His little baby loves Blooper, the Atlanta mascot.
I don't know what you're
All right,
talking
Freddie
about.
Freeman's first year with the Dodgers, he only hit 21 home runs. That's the fewest for a full-length season since 2015. And he was still, even though he only hit 21 home runs, he was still the third best rotisserie player according to CBS.
Okay.
Which says to you that they're obviously his batting average, his on-base percentage, all these other categories. He doesn't steal bases.
Yeah.
So the fact that he only hit 21 home runs and he was still number 3 hitter.
Well, he's pretty consistent. Gives you the batting average,
Gives
the
you
RBIs,
RBIs.
the runs.
Yeah.
One of the big question marks in fantasy baseball this year is the starting pitching. So many have McClanahan up there high. There's a lot of pitchers up there high. But how many people rank Garrett Cole number one
Stupid.
in
Why are
fantasy
you ranking?
baseball?
How could you? Explain to me how you could rank him number one. His 3.5 ERA ranked 30th among 45 qualifying starting pitchers. None of the other in the top 15 starting pitchers by ADP had an ERA above 3.25. You draft Garrett Cole as your first pitcher. You draft Garrett, you're going to have to draft him as your first pitcher because he's going to go early in the draft. You're hurting yourself right off the bat because a 3.5 ERA you could get in the 8th round, the 10th round.
Right.
So Garrett Cole is not he's not what he used to be, and basically people are drafting him on name. Moving on.
So Garrett Cole should not, in your opinion, let me get this straight now, Garrett Cole should not be drafted number one in fantasy baseball.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's right.
Now, what about Bo Bichette?
Yeah.
Bo Bichette's numbers weren't, were pretty similar to 2021, but you know what? He didn't have a very consistent season. Did not have a very consistent
Bo
season.
Bichette still. The final month of the season, we're going to talk about momentum again right now. Bo Bichette had an excellent final month of the season, and that helped him out a lot. He hit .406 with 7 home runs, 4 stolen bases, and a 1.105 OPS in September, which raised his season batting average from 260 to 290 and his season OPS from 725 to 802. Momentum in this case, plus youth, the ability to do all 5 things. Bo Bichette is excellent. I'm drafting him, no problem. I hope his, last year I think we saw, did we see him being drafted like really high? I don't know. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Bo Bichette.
And part of that,
I love the momentum coming into this year.
And part of the Bo Bichette heavy drafting was because of stolen bases, right?
And we're going to be able to prevent a lot of runs in Toronto now with their new outfield, with their new defensive outfield.
Yeah.
And the Toronto Blue Jays are going to get a lot of wins because of that.
Okay.
It's not, it's not great and flashy for fantasy, but still, Bo Bichette's excellent. Now, we talked about Bobby Witt. Early ADP has as a first rounder. He had 20 home runs and 30 steals as a rookie last year, but he reached base at only a 294 clip, the 14th worst mark among qualifying batters. And his 722 OPS was worse than that of Jurickson Profar.
So where are you going with Bobby Witt this year?
I'm not going to draft him because
you seem to be against Bobby Witt.
I love Bobby Witt.
I
love his potential.
Throw me a number on Bobby Witt.
I'm not drafting him because everybody else is going to outspin me on him. I'm not willing to pay for the 30 stolen bases with a guy that's in his sophomore season. How often do we see a slump?
Right. Yeah, that's why they call it.
And they're drafting him in the first round. That means people are paying upwards of $30-something for this guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing that.
So would you rather take Jurickson Profar or Bobby Witt? Okay. Keep in mind.
Man. I'll get Profar for $1.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To get Profar for $1 or you're not going to get him for $1. Let's say Profar goes for like.
Does he have a team yet?
No, $6 or $7. He's going to sign with a good team. Jurickson Profar.
We don't know if he's going to get to play every day.
Let's say Profar at $8 and Bobby Witt at $28.
I'm not going to draft either of those guys for that price.
Mm-hmm.
Until I see if Jurickson Profar has a full-time job, then maybe. Let's move on.
All right, let's just thank everybody for being in the chat room. It's one of the greatest chat rooms we have ever had. Dan Ogden has just joined us. Eddie Heckman is here. Thank you all. We really, Outlaw Seal, great to see you. Laura is wonderful in that chat room. Tommy Johnson, and thank you all for being here. Okay, well, I guess Wild Bill, good to see you too. Anybody else?
Outlaw's back.
Outlaw Seal. All right,
Yay.
We talked about Garrett Cole. So who are you going to take? You have the pick. You got the first pick.
I'm not taking those.
Are you taking Shane McClanahan?
Yeah, I'll take him over any of these.
Would you take Shane McClanahan over Garrett Cole?
Yes.
Any reason? He had a late-year shoulder impingement.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah, but he had 24 starts before he missed a couple of weeks with the shoulder impingement. His swinging strike rate was 16.3%. In 5 starts after returning, postseason included, his swinging strike rate was only 10%.
Only 10%.
I still like him better for the price than Garrett Cole.
All right, go ahead.
I do. I think he's a great pitcher. I don't have his stats in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Should I look him up?
All right.
Let me check him out.
Anytime you want. I'll talk about, like next week, we'll talk about Rookie of the Year. But Michael Harris, who had a 56% ground ball rate.
Look at his ERA, 2.54.
Who?
It's a full point lower than Garrett Cole.
Okay, so McClanahan
Don't tell
over
me.
Cole.
There's no possible
All
way.
you guys taking Garrett Cole, switch over to McClanahan.
Listen, he's got a ground ball rate of 50% and a strikeout rate of 30%. And according to Malpal's formula, this guy is an excellent pitcher, and I believe that
Who's
very much.
Malpal?
And he only walks 2 batters per 9 innings. This guy is above and beyond Garrett Cole in every way, in every metric. There's no comparison with this guy. Okay.
Well, okay.
He's 25 too.
Commercial free. That's right. We are commercial free. You don't have to pay. You don't have to do nothing except, you know what? Bring your... Oh, Malpal says he'll take Cole.
Oh, please.
Oh, my goodness.
You've got to be
gracious.
kidding. Malpal's drunk from last night.
Oh, from last night.
He
Anyway,
has to be.
Bring your friends. Tell the people who have paid to listen to Lady and the
Is
Legend.
Malpal drunk?
No.
Let me look at his ground ball and strikeout.
Oh,
rate.
Malpal's ground ball?
No, I'm looking at this Garrett Cole
I'm talking
nonsense.
about Michael Harris, okay? Go ahead.
Let's talk about Michael Harris. I'm not going to argue again over this, but I'll tell you what. McClanahan has a better formula than Garrett Cole.
Okay.
By quite a bit.
And Michael Harris, he had a 56.2% ground ball rate.
That's the worst, isn't it? Oh, wait, there's
no.
one worse.
Christian Yelich.
Can you believe it's Christian Yelich?
What do you
What are you
think?
going to do with Christian Yelich?
You think Christian Yelich is coming back? You think you can get Christian Yelich for like $12? He's still going to go for $15.
$12? You think?
Right.
Well, he hit 14 home runs last year and stole 19 bases.
Okay.
That's worth $12. We've already seen the guy be a monster.
Yeah. How many bases last year?
He stole 19 bases.
So what do you think he's going to do this year? How old is he?
Probably about the same. He's only 31.
He's 31.
But
He
we
could
normally
steal you 30 bases this
Yeah, we
year.
normally see the stolen bases go down.
But he could be one of those guys who stolen bases goes up because he knows how to play the game.
Yes,
You know.
and he knows how to steal bases. He got caught only 3 times, and he was successful 19 times. So he definitely has that. With him, we compare him a lot to Cody Bellinger because we have 2 players here that were excellent and then all of a sudden just fell off. But I would put my trust in Yelich over Bellinger.
Okay.
Even though I like Bellinger's new start this year in a new ballpark, in a new team.
All right, let's talk about a young player that a lot of people really don't know about.
Brian De La Cruz. How many
Cruz.
De La Cruzes are in baseball?
There's a lot.
There's like 15.
There's one on Cincinnati.
Ellie, right? Ellie?
Ellie's going to steal you a ton of bases, but this is Brian. When he came back from the minors, he was 33 for 85 with 6 home runs. That's a 380-something batting average if you're scoring at home. Very comparable to Rafael Devers, okay? He was the Marlins opening. He was with the Marlins opening
yes,
day.
he was with the Marlins opening day. Then he got sent down to the minors.
Yep.
When he came back from the minors, he was very good. He came back. He was demoted in August, and when he came back in September, he hit 388 with a 419 on base percentage, 6 home runs, 22 RBIs in only 25 games. So he still has a weighted runs created plus of above average. And even though Miami is not a great place to be a hitter, is he going to have a job every day? That's what I say. That would be the most important thing. And as of right now, he doesn't look like he's the starter in any of the outfield spots.
Yeah, we'll see.
They have Jesus Sanchez, John Birdie, Jazz Chisholm, and Avisel Garcia.
And John Birdie,
but he does play all 3.
John Birdie could be the most devalued player in Major League Baseball.
Why am I always ahead on that? I liked John Birdie 3
You
years
liked him,
ago.
and he did well. He stole the bases you suggested he would steal, but now he's going to have to steal 50 bases.
John Birdie plays center field, left field, shortstop, third base, second base.
But his stolen bases, for him to stand out, he's going to have to steal 50. Okay? He's going to have to steal 50. Now,
Let's see where he qualifies going into this season.
okay.
So go ahead and move on, and I'll find out.
Move on to what?
We got, John Birdie last year played 47 games at second base, 37 games at third base, 19 games in the outfield, and 10 games at shortstop.
Right.
He qualifies in at least 3 spots, which would be second, third, and outfield. If your league allows for 10 or more games, then he would also qualify at shortstop, which helps out his value a lot. Does he steal bases as much as he used to?
John Birdie's, that's what he's there
He
for.
stole 41 bases
Yeah,
last
he's
year, and he
gonna
only got caught 5 times.
And he may steal 60 bases this year.
60?
Yeah,
Get on with it.
absolutely.
He's 32 for crying
But
out
he's
loud.
still, Luis Serraz is there now. You got Joey Wendell. You got Garrett Hampson. There's a lot. But the outfield, we talked about Brian De La Cruz. Don't forget, the man a lot of people are talking about because of his success in the Arizona Fall League, J.J. Bleday. J.J. Bleday.
What
They
about
got
him? He's a
Bleday
lefty.
as a left-handed hitter. Don't forget, Jazz Chisholm's going to play center field. And
Jazz Chisholm stinks.
what about these two guys? Avisail Garcia
He stinks too.
and Jorge Soler.
Soler will be in because of his power.
Uh,
He's a DH.
Well, what about Avisail Garcia? Who do you like better?
I don't know.
They could switch positions, They could switch positions. One could play right field, the other one could play DH, or J.J. Bleday could wind up in the outfield, and either Garcia or Soler could play. Would be sent to the bench.
Sandy Alcantara, NL Cy Young winner last year. Guess how many starts he had last year where he threw more than 7 innings?
I would guess and say 12.
More than 7 innings. 16.
16 starts.
16 times he went out on the mound and he threw more than 7 innings. Okay, the next pitcher on the list,
I didn't realize that at all.
Aaron Nola.
Had just 7 starts. That I know.
Yeah, less than half.
But I
So
didn't
Alcantara
realize.
also had 6 complete games.
Hey, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Wait.
What's your problem? 5 people left. Because you're yelling at me.
But look at this chat room. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Yes, Leonard.
Wait, but who does that? Wait, your guy. Can't mention his name.
Who?
Because people will think you're political. He's on our twice a day.
Oh.
Wait.
Steve Bannon.
Okay. So Alcantara won the National League Cy Young Award.
You got to
right?
bounce, Leonard?
I got to bounce. He's got a great 4-seam. And remember when we saw him now in the Arizona Fall League? You didn't like him. And remember what I said. It was brilliant what I said. Because we noticed that he was throwing well over 100 and he didn't have control.
He just threw it in the same spot every
Right.
time, over the plate.
Not over the plate. It was where the right-handed batter was standing, all right?
I don't know, Leonard.
But
you were right, I was wrong.
I was right when I said a good pitching coach, when he threw less than 100, 97,
Craig
98.
was right, I was wrong.
Craig Mish was correct.
But he's a homer, so
when
he's
he-
going to say any Miami Marlin is good.
When he threw less speed, he got the ball exactly when he wanted. So a good pitching coach took care of him, and he reached the pinnacle, winning the National League Cy Young
He's
Award.
better than I thought he was. Now, one thing
But
about
his
him,
strikeout rate was only a little above average.
it doesn't matter, okay? The thing about Alcantara going into this season is that in fantasy, it seems that Alcantara is going to be so expensive. I'm not sure. Last year you were able to draft him at a reasonable price. I had him on most of my teams because he was one of those guys you could get in the 4th or 5th round, and he was an excellent, safe choice. Now he's going very early. Not to say that he doesn't deserve it. He's 27 years old. He finished 2022 with a 2.28 ERA, a .98 WHIP, and a 2.07 to 50 strikeout to walk ratio in 228 innings.
Hold it, George, making
He's
a
the
statement.
only pitcher in baseball that has thrown 200 innings the last 2 consecutive seasons.
Okay.
What?
Okay. George says he'll take Hosmer over Bleday. Woo!
tap.
Way to go, Georgie boy.
George must not count doubles or triples in
George
his league.
doesn't count. Okay, let's put it that way.
All right.
But
so he led the MLB in innings pitched. He was second in NL and ERA. He was sixth in WHIP and fourth in strikeouts. I love Alcantara. I might consider drafting him high. I'd never spend more than $27 or $28 on a pitcher. That way I could get a good chunk of decent, above average pitchers in the 20s. You don't want to spend no $40 on a pitcher. They'll end up like Max Scherzer or Chris Sale. I like Scherzer, but anyway, let's talk about JT.
Well, wait a second. We've actually got some people who have left the chat room. I'm going to ask this question.
Because you're yelling.
If this was on Sirius Radio and you had to pay for it, would you leave? No. You wouldn't leave if you pay for it. You're getting this free and commercial free.
You owe a quarter to the jar.
2 frees. You get it. You don't have to pay for it, and you don't have to hear commercials.
Freeload.
Go ahead.
You're a freeloader.
Freeloader.
Anyway, 22 home runs and 21 stolen bases. JT Realmuto, the second 2020 catcher ever.
Ivan Rodriguez did it. I know that.
He's the second catcher ever to hit 2020. Pudge did it what year?
Oof. 98? 90, something
99.
Like 99, okay.
So, and here's the thing about him. JT Realmuto, if you had him last year on your team, you were probably very disappointed the first part of the season. After the All-Star break, he hit 15 homers, dude. That means he only hit 7 before the All-Star break.
Right.
And he stole 10 bases after the All-Star break. So he had a good momentum. Another thing with momentum here. Let's talk about Spencer Strider. Do we have to?
Do we have to? No, but
everybody knows who he is.
I got a Spencer Strider one for you.
Okay, what is it? Listen
to this about Spencer Strider. His strikeout is, what's his strikeout to innings?
He's the fastest ever to 200 strikeouts. He did it in 130 innings. He's the first pitcher to strike out 200 while allowing fewer than 100 hits.
Right.
Unbelievable.
And
that's better than Nolan Ryan ever did.
Right.
But one thing.
His strikeout per 9 is better than what Nolan Ryan ever did.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Spencer Strider's strikeout to 9 is better than Nolan Ryan ever did. Whoa.
He can't pitch near the innings Nolan Ryan did.
Tommy Johnson says that Garrett Cole is going downhill. All right,
that's from way earlier, Leonard. Right, this is not scrolled down.
Oh, here's one for you.
Chris Bryant hasn't homered.
Quiet! You gave away the answer. I was going to say, who hasn't homered in his last 153 plate appearances at Coors Field? And you start off by saying, Chris Bryant hasn't homered. Let's get our act together, okay? Come on. Am I screaming?
Probably because I'm deaf.
All right, I just get excited, okay? So let's talk about Spencer Strider.
The second half, he was 7-2 with a 2.20 ERA, a .92 WHIP, and an 88-15 strikeout to walk ratio over his final 57 innings, and that was over 10 starts. So he's averaging almost 6 innings a start in his second half of the season, and he's very young, so it only gets better from here. How much are you going to pay for this guy, though? This is another problem child that we have.
I'm not
Spencer Strider. Wait till the batters figure him out. He only pitched 130 in the majors.
But it was the second half where he had a 2.2 ERA, 0.92 WHIP.
Well, he finished the season with a great ERA.
Yeah, 88 strikeouts, 15 walks. But remember, he had that left oblique strain. It knocked him out of the final weeks of the season. I want to see how he pitches a left oblique strain, which, by the way,
is he lefty?
That could be what I have. Do you ever think of that? I'm sitting here doing the show, and she's got her left arm up in the air, and she's putting deodorant on. Since when do you smell?
I just want to make sure I don't smell, Leonard.
That's okay. I'm with you. I didn't know women wear deodorant like that. First of all, you were really a woman? You
didn't think women poop.
All right, stop it. Now you're going too far. All right?
Dylan Cease. Do you want to talk about him?
Yes, let's talk about Dylan Cease. Everybody's talking about Dylan Cease.
Well, what do you think?
He could be the most overrated pitcher this year. Okay.
Seriously, he had a great stretch last year. 14 starts.
Yeah.
From late May through early August, where he had a .66 ERA, only 6 earned runs, and that's it. And he started 32 games, okay, for the second straight season. Last year, he had a career-high 184 innings. His strikeout percentage did go down a little bit, and his walk rate did go up a little bit. So, does that mean anything to you? Because he also did have a .260 batting average on balls in play and an 82.3 left-on-base percentage. That is not sustainable. Neither of those two.
Okay.
I don't know. Batting average on balls in play should really go down. We used to say 300 was average, and if it was above 300, as a hitter, you're getting really lucky. As a pitcher, you're getting unlucky.
Right.
Vice versa, whatever. But now that the batting average across the league is so low, do we really still want to use 300 as a good average for batting average on balls in play? We might want to lower it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
More than a little bit.
I agree with you. I'd lower a little bit.
Anyways, apparently Dylan Cease is being drafted ahead of a lot of starters with a similar or better skills.
Yeah, because you know what? It's the young pitchers that get hyped up. That's what happens, okay? By the way, there was a question in the room.
He just signed a huge contract. Is that going to not guarantee that he's going to be as good? Last year he was fighting for a contract. This year he just got a huge raise. He is in arbitration still, I should say.
Okay. Somebody asked a question. I forgot who it was.
What about...
Wait a second. They asked a question at the very beginning, even before we went on. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I think it was Chris Cambridge may have asked the question. He's not here? Chris from Cambridge is not here?
No, Leonard.
Okay. I guess
what about the dude that just was going to sign with the Giants and then the Mets, and now he's with Minnesota?
Oh, Carrera.
We have been reading in the New York Post.
Yeah, that his ankle is just...
That the doctors say that his ankle is the worst ankle it's ever been.
Yeah. And here's some more news about Keita Kenga. Isn't that his name?
Kenga?
Yeah, the guy who the Mets... I forget how you pronounce his name.
Kodai Senga.
Yeah, Kodai Senga, not Katie Kenga. Kodai Senga. Hey, come on, Sunday morning. What are you? By the way, we're taking this to the top of the hour.
Who is Kodai Senga?
Kodai Senga. The Mets now are concerned about his arm. So
isn't he supposed to have a great?
He's got a great fastball. He's got a great. Other pitch that they call the ghost pitch. They're really counting on him, but now I'm reading between the Mets are very concerned with Katie Senga.
Kodai.
Katie. I think his name is Katie. All right?
Right there.
Yeah, Katie Senga.
Katie?
Cody Senga. Cody, not Kodai. Cody. Cody Senga. They're concerned about his arm. So when it's time,
Senga had an iffy medical before the Mets. Before the Mets doctor signed off on his 5-year contract, he had an iffy medical. That's from John Heyman. He didn't offer any more specifics on the nature of his injury, but added that it's common for Japanese pitcher to show more wear and tear on their arms because they usually handle heavier workloads at younger ages. He's 30, by the way. So, pipe down your hopes. He's not going to be the number one guy in the rotation either, clearly. So that helps him out, right?
Well, no, he's not going to be the number one guy.
I mean, he's got Scherzer and Verlander ahead of him.
And, you know what?
They're both great veterans.
When they were both on Detroit, this is interesting now.
I know, I heard this.
When they were both on Detroit,
Scherzer and Verlander,
they didn't get along. They did not get along.
Max Scherzer is a little... I don't even care about that.
But
Verlander said that it was when they were both single.
Yeah, when they were both single and they were floating around and they wanted
Maybe
to be
they were
best.
jealous of each other.
So what do you think? Do you think that's a good...
They're both family men now.
They're both family men. They're both older. They're both married.
They're going to get along just fine.
Is that going to be it?
Absolutely. They're great. I love this combination of Verlander and...
Katie Senga.
His name is not Katie.
Look, what is
Cody.
it? Cody Senga.
I don't know how to say his name.
Just be careful,
It's not
okay?
Katie.
All right, we're going to 10 o'clock,
Lenny
so
was-
everybody hang in there with us. A couple of more minutes.
Lenny has a friend on Facebook named Amanda, and he tells me, I can't figure out if this is a boy or a
Yeah,
girl.
until she was talking about... I thought it was a guy, and then she's talking about a
What guy do you know-
mammogram.
Is there ever a guy named Amanda?
No. That's why I thought it was a female, but anyway. Corey Sagar, if you remember, he had a
Corey
career...
Seager.
245, but he had a career 33 home runs, but he only batted
242.
242 against the shift.
So we're going to say Corey Seager is going to be better
Yeah.
this year, right? A 332 batting average against the shift. Wait.
Right.
He hit a career low last year of 245,
Yeah.
despite having a career high 33 homers.
Yeah.
He batted 242 against the shift just last year,
Right.
and he entered with a career 332 batting average against the shift.
Yep. So
Doesn't really matter. He had a bad season last year.
all right, but
He
he's
still
got
had 33
and
homers.
he's got a 10-year, $325 million contract, and that didn't bother him. He drove in 80 something runs for the second time.
His batting average was disappointing, but his batting
Yes.
average on balls in play was only 242.
Okay, so what do you think of Sager? He doesn't run. Does not run.
I think he used to be drafted on his name.
But he puts his bat to the ball. His strikeout rate ranged from what? About 15
He
and a
doesn't
half
strike
to
out
16.
that much.
Doesn't strike out.
That
Okay.
much.
Now here, all right, let's just do two more players. Adolis Garcia.
Do you like this guy?
Yes.
You get to choose
I
to
think
keep him
he's-
in one of our leagues.
He's a very underrated player, Adolis. And thank you, everybody in the chat room is still here. We love you.
All right.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Adelise scored 88 runs, even though his on-base percentage was only 300.
Yep.
He was only the seventh player of this century to score so many runs with an on-base percentage so low.
And the strikeout rate went from about 31% to 28%.
So he's improving, but
Yes,
by the
he
time
is.
he gets to have an average strikeout rate, he'll be 45 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He did start walking a little more, only 6% he walks.
Yes.
So his fly ball exit velocity is beyond. He hits the ball really hard, and and I think that he might run a lot more.
Well, that's what they're saying. I don't know him that well to speculate on stolen bases, but he ran a lot more. And with the new rules, many are talking about him stealing some bases this year. Okay, but his plate discipline is not good. Okay, power speed combo is enticing.
So you get to choose to keep Adolis Garcia as one of your keepers in our AL only league, and you get to keep him in round 16. Is
Right.
that good? Is that good for an AL only league?
I think it's pretty good. He's going to hit the home runs. He enjoyed a productive. What, he had 26 home runs, 25 stolen bases.
97 RBIs
He's a very...
and 86 runs.
He needs to get more respect.
So you're going to keep Adolis Garcia in round 16.
Yes.
You also get to choose to keep Gleyber Torres in round 18.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about... Of course, they're talking him up in the chat room. They're talking up O'Neill Cruz in the chat room. Talking him up.
This guy hits the ball hard, hella hard.
He's a walking highlight reel, right?
6'7",
6'7".
210.
I'm 5'7", more than 210.
You're 5'3", Leonard.
Am I 5'3"?
Yeah. Remember,
I don't
went
look
to
it.
the doctor with you.
Oh, that's right. Forget it. 6'7". We all know how big he is. But he hit a batted ball 122.4 miles per hour. That set a new record for the StatCast era. His sprint speed, 98. How far can this guy go? And, of course,
We
Potato
gotta love
Pete.
him. He's only 24 years old. He's gonna be with the Pirates.
Yeah.
So that's a hit on him. But
Okay, Potato Pete talking about him in the chat room.
What's
okay?
Potato Pete saying?
He had swing and miss issues, about 35%, but he got his strikeouts down. So his upside is tremendous, but the quality of contact was less of an issue. But
Potato Pete loves Paul Heyman.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, his name is John Heyman. So
Yeah, John Hammond. But he managed to cut a strikeout rate of about
who's Paul
30.
Heyman? Is that a guy?
Call him as a wrestling manager, okay? Anyway.
Whose wrestling birthday is it? Daniel will know him.
Anyway.
Who's the birthday for the wrestler?
Would you please? What are you talking
You saw
about?
a wrestler's birthday today.
I don't know who it was, but the point is that Debbie Cruz, I'll tell you what, this is our last player that we're covering. Debbie Cruz.
Debbie?
What do you think about this guy?
Debbie?
Yes. Cruz. Debbie Cruz.
O'Neal.
Yeah, that's right. What am I thinking? O'Neal Cruz. 6'7", shortstop. I'm going to ask your opinion. You think he'll remain at shortstop?
I don't know. That's the honest answer. I don't know how well he does defensively, but I can't imagine that the Pirates have much choice. Do they? He strikes out a lot, O'Neal Cruz.
But are they going to keep him at shortstop? That's the main thing. You take a look at the Pirates, and of course, you can expect anything from Pittsburgh, but they're building a team. They got the O'Neal Cruz.
He's the only guy they have.
Got Brian Hayes, who will also steal some bases.
He's playing third.
Rodolfo Castro's going to hit some home runs. Chi-Man Choi.
G-Man Choi does what?
Well, are they going to trade?
He stands at first base and looks cute.
Are they going to trade Brian Reynolds finally?
They've already tried. They've been trying.
I don't know how hard they've been trying.
DH Carlos Santana, is he worth a draft pick?
No, only if it's an on-base percentage league. Sawinski, Reynolds.
Oh, this team.
Interesting to see what happens. But
team.
more interesting to say to you.
What about their pitching? Their pitching has just got...
all right.
It literally, a minor league team could outpitch this team. Okay?
More interesting to say to you.
Suck on it.
No, I love you, man. How many men ever can do a 1-hour show with their better half? Should I call you better half?
My pal.
My pal, okay? Big Al on the prowl, thank you. Boston Paul, Chris from Cambridge, and we have an answer for Chris from Cambridge, but we don't
is
have
he back?
Chris, no, he's not back yet.
Yes, he is.
So I'll do it tomorrow. Chris Gallo on some player, Maldonado, I think. George is the best. Eddie Heckman, the great
He got
Eddie
Matt
Heckman.
Carpenter right.
Daniel Ferrara, yeah, George.
Gallo got Matt
Nice
Carpenter.
go. Daniel Ferrara, Chris Gallo,
Laura.
John Garofalo, the king of all haps, the most beautiful chat room person in history. Take a look. Laura DiChiara. We're going to see Laura soon.
Outlaw Seal, we love having you back.
Main Nick.
Potato.
Malpal.
The Potato.
Outlaw Seal. The Mr. Potato Head. Rotorius. Tommy Johnston. And all the guests. Holy cow. In what could be the best chat room ever. All right, so don't forget, register when you can. You'll get an okay, and then we can see your names. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Anything else you want to say?
All in the family today.
Love you all.
Bye.
Thank you so much.